Hi, and welcome back. This is Bake with Kids. Today we have the whole family baking. We're doing one of our favorite recipes, which is pizza dough. I'm Libby, this is Ridge, and this is my husband Clint. So he's gonna help out, and in honor of Father's Day, he's gonna be manning the second half of this video, where he's going to grill the pizza dough to show you how easy it really is. So let's get started with our recipe. To make this go a little bit quicker, we've pre-measured out all of our ingredients. We've all washed our hands, we've cleaned up our area, and we are ready to go. We're starting out with a nice big bowl and a spoon, and I have 2 cups of nice warm water. So Rich, would you please put the water right into our bowl? Nice job.
All of it?
All of it. Next we have a tablespoon of yeast. And we're gonna just kind of pour that in. And then right after, we're gonna pour in a tablespoon of sugar. So would you do that for me, Ridge? Nice job. Now Ridge is gonna stir, very good. And then Clint is going to add in the flour. So once we get the yeast starting to dissolve, Clint is gonna add in 5½ cups of all-purpose flour. Nice job, Ridge. Get all of those little lumps of yeast, kind of try to mix them up. You don't really need to let your yeast bloom. There's no need to do that. I know that this yeast is viable. If you're concerned about your yeast, let's say it's old or you've had it for a while, you might want to give it a chance just to see if it's active, but that's usually not a problem. All right, so Clint, go ahead and add in half of that flour. You can just shake it in.
Thanks for your Ridge.
Nice job, Rich. And don't worry about being exact about it. What we're trying to do here is sort of mix in so that we just don't get really huge lumps. Nice, that's looking awesome. Now is when I like to add in the salt and oil. We're gonna add in all of this flour, but I think it just makes it easier to add in the first half. Then we're gonna do salt. This is a tablespoon of salt and 2 tablespoons of olive oil. It incorporates a little bit easier now versus if you do it at the end.
Ready for more flour?
We are ready for more flour. So the other half of our 5½ cups is going in. Ridge is gonna start to get really hard to stir. You got it, man?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Nice job.
Good job, buddy.
Oh, okay, let me take a spin at that. Basically what we're looking for here is to combine our dough enough so that our spoon stands up in the bowl. Takes a lot of arm power. And I actually prefer to do my pizza dough by hand rather than in a mixer. We're not super concerned about a really high gluten content. We don't want to strengthen the gluten so much it makes it hard to work with. Now Ridge, he showed something that's already happening. We already have gluten forming. If you see Ridge's hands, they are totally sticky, covered in flour, or in dough, I'm sorry. That is because that gluten structure has started to form, and gluten is super duper sticky. It's gonna hold up our spoon right in the bowl. You can go ahead and just wipe your hands down, Ridge. Here you go. Wipe them down. That's what we have this extra flour for. So this is what we're gonna call our dusting flour. And basically what we're gonna use that for is just to make sure that our dough isn't sticking when we're turning it out and kneading. Kneading is sometimes kind of scary to people, but it's really, really simple. And if you do it right, you're gonna be great, no matter really how much you need. You don't have to knead pizza dough a whole ton. So what we're gonna do is take a pinch, and Ridge is gonna kind of take on the kneading at first. I'm gonna do a couple of kneads, and then he's gonna take over, and then Clint's gonna finish out for me. So now I have my bowl of dough. I'm gonna scrape down my edges. We are gonna use this bowl later to do our rise time. And this is a great recipe to make ahead of time. You can make it the day before and actually put it in the refrigerator. It works out really well, and it brings a really nice flavor to the dough. Everything from our bowl wants to be out there. Hold on, Ridge, hold on for me. Hold on, buddy. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna take our dough and we're gonna form a loaf shape. So we're gonna form a shape that is longer than it is wide, okay? By squishing the edges. Good job. From here, we're gonna take our hands, and I'm gonna do the first one, Ridge, and then you're gonna take over for me, okay? So we're gonna take this first one. We've got our loaf. We're gonna grab it from the top and fold it towards us. Hold up, hold up. Then we're gonna take the heel of our hand and we're gonna gently push away. Okay, Ridge, now I think you're ready. You saw it once, now I wanna see you do it. Gather it up into a loaf shape. Grab the top and fold it towards you. And then gently push down and away. There you go. Nice job. Now we're gonna turn it.
Good job, buddy.
And we're gonna do the whole thing over again. We're gonna fold, we're gonna push, we're gonna turn. Fold, push, turn. As we do our fold, pushes, and turns, we're gonna notice that there's some sticky stuff on the outside of our dough. If that happens, we can just sort of brush that away. We're gonna take our dusting flour and we're gonna put some new flour out. You don't wanna put too much, just a little bit at a time. Fold, push, and turn. Fold, push, and turn. We're gonna keep going until our dough passes what I call the doorbell test. And the doorbell test is basically your dough wants to be springy enough to be able to bounce back when you touch it with a floured finger. So that's gonna look like this. Ridge, can you help me do the doorbell test? Can you do a flour on your finger? Show everybody your flour finger, okay? We're gonna take it and we're gonna poke it. And if we poke the dough and our little finger spot fills back in, we've passed the doorbell test. If it doesn't, ours kind of looks like a bowling ball now. That's because we haven't quite strengthened our gluten enough. So, Clint, you want to take a roll?
Sure.
All right. Clint is going to gather it up. He's going to fold it in half, gently push down and away, and turn. Looks like he might have done this before. Good job. Now, you really don't need to do that many turns, folds, and pushes. You are going to do this for about 2 to 3 minutes, and if it starts to stick, we're going to take our dough scraper, lift it up, and then grab some more of that flour, Clint, and just put a little bit out where you are. Nice. And then we're gonna go back to our folds, pushes, and turns. So we don't want sticking, but tacky, like the back of a sticker, is okay, as long as it's not sticking to our board or countertops. Very nice. Now all of this flour that's here that Ridge is playing with, Ridge, we're gonna scrape all this flour away. Can you please help me? Take a dough scraper, and we're gonna scrape all this flour away from Daddy. You look like a regular baker, Ridge. You got flour all down your front. Nice. Okay, so we've got our extra flour here. All of this is going in the trash. We're gonna take our bowl, and you can, if you want, take whatever container you measured your olive oil in, and you can pour just a little bit of olive oil in there. You can also just go straight from your olive oil bottle. This is just to kind of help keep things from sticking as it's rising. So we're gonna take our dough. I'm gonna give it just a couple more quick kneads. And it's a little sticky, so I'm gonna do just a hair more flour. Because what I don't want is I don't want this going into the bowl and then just sticking to the sides. Because what's gonna happen is that the dough's gonna break and then it can't get all puffed up. So what we're doing here, the little science lesson behind our yeast anything, is that yeast is producing CO2. It's eating the sugar and it is creating CO2. That CO2 is going to show up in the form of giant bubbles like this one. That's an awesome CO2 bubble, and I was really hoping you were going to be able to show you one, and we did. So what's happening is the gluten is strong enough to hold in the CO2. You can pop it, you can go for it. And the CO2 is getting trapped inside that gluten structure. There we go. Very nice. So this dough here would go in a nice warm place for about 1.5 to 2 hours, or until it doubles in size, or it can go into your refrigerator up to overnight. Now for my favorite part, we get to shape our dough. So everybody's gonna shape their own pizza dough. What we're gonna do first, Clint, I'm gonna grab that flour again, and I'll just keep it on over here. And I'm gonna dust our entire area. Ridge is already covered, so no worries about making any more of a mess, right? That's good, Ridge. Perfect. I'm gonna take our dough. I'm gonna take my dough scraper. Watch your hand, the blob. Good job. All right, so now we're just going to degas the dough. You can see all these little CO2 bubbles. We want some CO2, but not too much, because then we're just gonna get a pizza that's completely all one big bubble. And there's 3 of us. This recipe actually makes 4 pizzas, so we're gonna cut it into 4ths, and I will probably do 2 pizzas, and each of my boys will do 1, depending on who's fastest. All right, so Clint, this is gonna be your piece right here. We don't worry about weighing them. You can weigh out your pieces if you want to get exact. You want that giant one?
No, this one.
That one's for me?
No, that one's for me.
Okay, that one's for you. I'll take this one. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna get our dough and we're gonna kind of get it a little dusted. Okay, now we're gonna take and fold in our corners. Ridge, can you do this with me? Do it on yours. Fold in your corners. Yep. Fold in your corners and pinch it all together. Fold in again. Good job. We're gonna make what kind of looks like a little onion. Okay, so when we hold it up, or a little piece of, like a giant clove of garlic. Then we're gonna take our pizza dough and we're gonna flop it so that that stem is down. So Rich, can you flip yours over? I'm gonna do this one again. So we're folding in our corners and we're pulling everything up into that big garlic. Once we have that, we're gonna flip it over, and now we have a nice round pizza. Oops, what happened to yours? Did you flip it over twice? There we go. Hold on. Okay, flip it over. And now you're just gonna let it sit. Ideally, if you have the time, you wanna leave these covered for about 5-10 minutes with just cover them with a towel. In the sake of time, we're gonna go ahead and start moving them and rolling them out now. So the first step, what I like to do is pick up my dough and just start making my dough circle a little bit bigger. So I'm using gravity, and I'm just kind of making my pizza dough just a little bit bigger. Nice job. Really put your thumbs in there, Ridge. Like, make thumb marks. Good job. The goal is to take the dough from the center and start pushing it up towards the sides and then letting gravity take care of the rest. All right. Once we have our pizza rounds, that looks beautiful, Ridge. You don't want to mess with it too much more, bud. Just kind of let it sit for a second. Then you have 2 options. You can use a rolling pin or you can use your hands. I like a rolling pin. I think it just makes for a better pizza dough. So I'm gonna just dust my little dough round here in flour, and I'm gonna take my rolling pin in the middle and I'm gonna work out. Roll to the middle, work out. So I'm picking it up and moving it back to the middle every time. And what you're gonna notice, especially at the beginning, you'll get a turn in just a second, man. What you're gonna notice, especially at the beginning, is that your dough starts to shrink back up. That's completely normal. That's just the gluten structure being very tight. We've done a lot of moving and rolling, and it's making it really, really difficult for our dough to be in one position. Right in the middle. There we go. Very nice. This rolling pin's a little bit big for Ridge, but he's a pro. Good. All right, see how yours is coming and stretching back really quickly? Let's let it sit for just a minute and let's let Daddy have a run at his, okay? So once you get it here, you have 2 options. You can either, again, hand stretch your dough, which means picking it up, letting gravity take care of it, or if you really want to have fun, you can toss your dough into the air. So to toss your dough in the air, Ridge is going to help me out with this. We're going to do this one. Ridge, I want you to put your thumbs inside your fingers, and you're going to put your knuckles together. Then we're gonna take our knuckles, yep, you know, we're gonna take our knuckles, we're gonna put them right up by our nose, and we're gonna turn our fists. Okay, so what that looks like, his fists are here, and we're just turning them. Then he's gonna go down, up, and twist. Down, up, and twist. And the twisting motion, our thumbs are actually going in the same direction. So they're not gonna go opposite, because that would tear our dough. Instead, they're gonna go the same direction. So we're going like this. Turn, and then turn. Down, and turn. All right, Rich, you ready? Yeah, you got it. Let me dust your knuckles. Okay, we're gonna put that pizza dough on top. All right, don't hit the ceiling. Ready, 1, 2, 3, go. Nice catch, Daddy. One more time. Now, you did a great job, but it went out. So I want you to look up, and that's where your pizza dough is gonna go. Ready, 1, 2, 3. Pretty nice, pretty nice. We like to hand stretch our pizza dough around here also. So what you're gonna do is just kind of stretch it out, get it the way you want it to. That rolling pin can help. And then I like to layer my dough rounds. Oh, sorry, Clint. I like to layer my dough rounds on pieces of parchment paper. So I've got one piece, and then another piece, and that's one little piece of parchment that's in two. And then I can take Ridge's, say his was a little bit bigger, I would be putting it here, covering it up, and then putting the other one. That's okay, you're gonna get to make your own size, but they don't need to watch that. So we're gonna finish rolling out our pizzas, and we'll meet you guys outside to show you how to grill them up. Thanks.
Okay, so we slid it on a parchment paper, and then we have a pizza stone underneath, and we have it on the grill, and the grill is on like a medium-low heat. And we let the pizza stone heat up a little bit so that you can brown the bottom of it. And now you can see it's starting to bubble up. And we don't want to pop the bubbles.
So once the pizza starts to get browned on the bottom, which you can check either with a large spatula like we have here or a pair of tongs, you're going to want to flip it over and onto another piece of parchment. So we have a piece of parchment here that's set up for Ridge to be able to do his own pizza. So Clint and I are going to take this on. He's got a little glove, which is super helpful. And he's going to flip it so that the brown side is up. And basically what we're going to do now is just let Ridge have at it, and he is going to make his own pizza. So Ridge, you want to start off with sauce? Yeah? Okay, so we're going to start off with some sauce. I'm going to help Ridge with the sauce part. And then he's just going to start adding all of his favorite toppings. We like to go not super saucy, but enough that you can taste it kind of everywhere. All right, Ridge. So now we're going to start off with some cheese. Keep going, bud. This is Parmesan. Nice. Do you want some mozzarella too? We also have some low moisture mozzarella cheese that we just kind of throw on. And then what are you thinking? Do you want pepperonis? Yes? Okay. Put on some pepperonis. You want everything. Perfect. So we're going to throw on some pepperonis, some mushrooms. How about you do the basil? And once he's got his pizza exactly the way he wants it, do you want some tomatoes too?
Everything.
Yeah, everything. So once we've got the pizza exactly the way he wants it, we're just going to put it right back onto the grill. So his is ready to go. And we're just going to very, very carefully pick up the piece of parchment that he has. And Clint's going to slide it right back onto the grill. Really helps to have an oven mitt, something like that. And the parchment's going to help keep everything from sticking. So in a couple of minutes, you're going to see that Ridge has a beautiful pizza ready to go. If you don't have a pizza stone at home, that is okay. You can actually do this right on the grill, but you're going to want to take your pizza off of the parchment paper. You are going to get grill marks really, really quickly, and you want to make sure that you are oiling your grill grates. Pizza is an amazing recipe and something that you can easily do as a family. It turns out absolutely delicious. Thanks so much for joining us for our grilled Father's Day pizzas. Happy Father's Day to all of you out there, and we'll see you soon.